Golf's Facebook Live event, coming to you live here from Jupiter, Florida. My name is Rubin Hanan, one of the co-founders and managing partners here at Vertical Group Golf, and along with me tonight is Jeff Barry, our Chief Executive Officer, and a man that needs no introduction, 13-time winner, and current senior PGA champion, Rocco Mediate. Before we get started tonight, just wanted to clear up some miscommunication that has been said about the company and our technologies and our IP and patents before we start answering your questions. And please continue to put your questions into the queue so we can get to most of them tonight. If we don't get to all the questions tonight, we will hold these Facebook Live events periodically throughout the year. First, about our patents. It was said that we only have 1 year left on our patent, and that's just untrue. We have actually multi-year on our utility patents. Our design patents run through 2028, and we're continuing to build patents around our IP. So we feel very confident in our technology and our go-forward strategy. Secondly, in regards to our great ambassadors like Rocco and John Daly, it was also said that these gentlemen are also getting royalties on sales. Again, not true. These gentlemen and professionals are always looking for an edge in regards to playing their sport. Rocco can speak to it in a second, but again, no one's going to play an inferior product just for a couple dollars. Rocco, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I've seen that happen actually. It doesn't work. If you're, what word can I use that makes sense? Pitiful enough to sign a contract for a lot of money on an inferior product, you have no chance. It just won't work. So I've never done that. I can't speak for everybody else in the entire golf business or professional golf business, but I've always looked for the best product, and then I've dealt with it from there, period.
Rocco, why don't you tell the listeners when we first met exactly what you were looking for and exactly what you said to us when we brought you the
that was kind of a nasty one, huh? That was a good one, though. It was good. Well, when we test as professionals, at least the way I do it, I'm sure other guys do it too, if you're swinging well at that time and they bring you a driver, so they built my driver off the specs I've used for 25, 30 years, since metal came out, so probably mid-80s, mid-late 80s, right? So I had the basically same specs. Now they're the golf club's a little bit longer. Our standard's 45 and a half. So I just had the same golf club made up that I was basically playing with the last 2 years on the Champions Tour, or the PGA Tour Champions. Yep. Sorry, I change names every 15 seconds. Yeah. Yep. I don't do it. But so my buddy sent you guys the specs, and you build exactly what I said to build, or what we played the whole time. Same loft, same everything. Just different golf club, obviously. And so I figured if it's good, if it's as good as mine, I'm good, because I need to get I wanted to go somewhere else, right? I want to find somebody else's driver. And if it's not as good as mine, of course I'm just going to hand it back. So when they got there, I said, yeah, I'm going to hit one ball. And they go, what? I'm going to hit one ball. Why? So, well, if it doesn't go, I'm swinging decent enough right now for it to, if I make a decent swing, it should do what I feel like it does. When it becomes a surprise, it's a bad thing. So, and I waited around a few minutes before I hit one just because I was busting you guys up. It was hilarious. I thought it was funny, you guys made it.
I flew all the way down from
Boston.
So
funny.
you hit one ball.
Yeah. So anyway, I get up there, talk a little more, hit a pretty nice tee shot, a little high draw, which I love. And I stood there for a few seconds and I went, I'll hit one more. Then I hit one more in 3.5, 4 hours later. They were sick and tired of me. I'm like, they said, why don't you just hit one ball? It would have been much better. But it outperformed the driver I used for 2 years in every possible aspect. And I was absolutely shocked. I was actually shocked because you just don't know. When you go test a driver as a professional who has to have that ball go where you're looking most of the time, it's a hard thing to change. It becomes a part of you. Because you use it so much, basically. I'm basically using it 13 or 14 times around. That's a lot, right? So it has to be a part of you. So the change one is no fun. But this was a dream test because it doesn't happen very often. I think JD had the same thing.
We did.
I mean, that's what he told me. But I was shocked because it was faster, I hit it further and straighter, and like a curve. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're done. See you guys later.
But your spin rates too, Rock, were
high.
With your other clubs were very, very high. And you're just looking to hit it within, what, 2,200 range?
Yeah, it was between 22 and 23 is fine for me. So I don't mind it having a little more spin, because I do like to curve. But my other driver I used for 2 years was spinning at 2750, which is a jump.
Right.
It's a joke. So this one took it off the map. So I couldn't wait to get started.
And then the last thing I want to just mention before we get into your live questions is, if you're going to test our club, which we encourage you to do, just make sure that it's apples to apples. Make sure that you're testing with the right shafts, the right length of the club, right grips. Everything has obviously an impact on your dispersions, but we stand behind this club being, in our opinion, the best driver made. We're very excited to bring this to the marketplace. Not only is John and Rocco playing it, we have 3 others on the Champions Tour playing it right now. We're making it for 10 others right now on the Champions Tour. We've been at the Honda Classic this week, and a lot of the pros are taking a look at it. So we feel really good about our go forward. But again, if you're going to test the club, make sure it's apples to apples. So with that, let's get to some of your live questions.
First question.
I think the first question is about the dimples on the head, Jeff.
I can speak about this as a pilot.
Okay.
Originally, the dimple, first of all, I think someone asked if this was an octagon shape, but it's a hexagon shape. But what this does is create a turbulent airflow, therefore reducing friction as you come down and strike the ball. So I know a little bit about that as being a pilot.
Yeah. And again, our original was more cosmetic reasons, but as we've gotten into it and really done some research, the airflow obviously is very critical. I know you're seeing really good swing speeds, and ball speeds as well, right?
Both of them increased. Ball speed's definitely increased. And it's, obviously ball speed it's faster, which is the ball speed thing.
And you have a little smaller head too. It's
Yeah,
450cc
which
head.
I like that a lot.
So therefore you're going to have even more.
Right. So yeah, our head is a 450cc. Most other drivers on the marketplace are 460. John and both Rocco say, you just feel like you're getting a much better swing speed, through the ball at impact. And a lot of obviously the amateurs, the pros that are playing it are seeing the same thing. So you're getting great results. The next question that we just received has to do with our spin and what the vertical grooves actually do. So as we've tested this, because we had a lot of the same questions that you had as well when we first found this technology, and we took this out to Golf Labs in San Diego, which is the #1 third-party testing facility in the country. They test all the competitors' products, and we tested this against the 4 majors on the market with our stock shaft against their stock shafts, and then we put our stock shaft in their heads as well. And our dispersion rates, which is basically off-center, were much straighter than all the 4 competitors. In fact, on average, up to 40% straighter. And our distance was up to 12 yards further on average. So we're getting a much tighter dispersion rate. Yeah, most manufacturers' dispersion rates are like this. Ours is much more like this. So it's a much tighter cone as you're hitting the ball. So when it comes to kind of the spin of the ball, as Rocco just said, when he hits his drivers now, he's averaging 2,200 to 2,250. That's where he wants it. John Daly's, a little bit different, but his spin rates are much lower. In fact, the ball actually pierces on a windy day like it was today at the Honda, just pierces the wind. So it just goes straighter. So we're getting a much straighter dispersion rates. And we're seeing that not only from the professionals, but all the way down to the amateurs. Doesn't matter high handicap, low handicap. We're just getting a much straighter ball flight. What are some of the other questions that we have?
Rubin, someone wants to know about Tony the Inventor. Can you talk a little bit more about him, please?
So the invention came from a gentleman named Tony Antunes. Tony Antunes is from Sarasota, Florida. He had over 400 patents in golf. He actually invented the Velcro on the golf glove, believe it or not. And Tony just defended his patents against all the manufacturers. When Tony passed away in 2007, all of his patents went into his estate. And we were fortunate enough to find this patent that still had life left with vertical grooves. And when we saw it, we had the same aha moment. Why didn't anybody think of this first? And it was. He thought about it in 1999 and he built it. And this is really the same head for the most part, outside of some of the design features that we have now, that he built back then. And it's still outperforming all the clubs on the market today. dispersion rates, distance, spin rate. So we feel like this is the best club on the market today, and we feel like we're going to get a really good support, not only on the Champions Tour, PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, Web.com Tour, obviously through all the amateurs. We're doing green grass demo days right now in Florida. We're putting another 10 sales guys on the road very soon. Next week we'll start in Arizona, work the southern markets, and then obviously as the weather shifts, we'll move north. We're also opening a lot of indoor facilities, so you have a chance to demo the club. I know a lot of people are asking, where can we demo it? We've got on our website at vertgolf.com, I think 6 or 7 locations right now. We just signed another 2 today. Our goal is to have over 200 by the end of the year, if not more. And obviously we'll be extending our green grass demo days throughout the country as well.
So William Krull would like to know that you mentioned that the head is smaller, but what about the weight?
So the weight of our head is 200 grams. I mean, what do you typically play? I mean, obviously a 200-gram head, but what were you playing before? Same?
I couldn't even begin to tell you what I just know it was D3, D4, the same shaft, same everything else, but it's what I find of it, it's plenty big. It's plenty big enough. It's like, it's not like it's small, it's just, and it's, I think it's more solid than bigger.
And it addresses well.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
That's
That's one of the main things. The lines on it are fantastic.
Yeah, the lines are good. It lays really well. Once you have a chance to hit it, I mean, the sound of the ball coming off the head is
it's also quite cool.
Yes,
and the cool factor is good.
The cool factor. It's great looking club, great design. Again, encourage everyone to go to vertgolf.com and check it out.
In Boston, we call it wicked cool.
Wicked cool.
Wicked cool.
Rocco, Ken Hewling wants to know, do you have to play a different loft with this club?
No. What are we at now? We're 9.5s and 10.5s, soon to be 8 and 8.5s.
Yeah, 9.5s, 10.5s, and 12s, and we're at the USGA right now with our 8 degree. So we'll have an 8 degree soon, and then left-handed, obviously 9.5 and 10.5.
Hey, Kenny.
Scott Young wants to know about if this product is patented.
Yeah, we just went through that. So yeah, we have a utility patent on the vertical grooves. We have design patents on the head and the shape. We're continuing to build patents around all this IP that we have. So we'll continue this journey for a long time.
And there was a story published that said we only had 1 year left, and that's untrue.
Right.
So Jeff Hoffman wants to know what does the octagon cutouts on the top
Yeah,
do?
we just discussed that. So again, it's a hexagon. Has to do with airflow. Initially, it was cosmetic reasons, but we're also getting a better airflow over the top of the club, getting better dispersions, better distance.
Creates a turbulent airflow, therefore reducing drag. Yeah. And as well, the smaller head.
Someone asked, I couldn't see the name there, but they want to know, Rocco, what kind of reaction are you getting from fellow tour players?
I'm getting good reactions because they're all looking down, what the heck is going on here? I said, well, why are you playing this? I said, because I love it. I said, we'll make you all you want, and they're coming fast. It's made a lot of guys have noticed it's a big difference. I'm hitting further, I'm just hitting further and much straighter, actually, to tell you the truth. The stats say for itself, which is cool. But yeah, a lot of people are intrigued, and that's what you want. It's basically a brand new company, obviously.
Yeah,
technology brand new.
But the market needed something different. I never knew this was coming. I mean, I remember I did hit a prototype last February.
Yeah.
And I liked it then. And then it finally came out. This December is when I hit it, or last December, excuse me. And it's so different and so new and so cool that it's quite intriguing. And the best thing about it is it works. I mean, I don't mess with anything. I mean, like I said, it didn't work the first time. I can't do it.
Right.
And but like you said earlier in one of the other questions, get fitted. Now that we're getting some places to do that.
Right.
Because you're going to spend a bunch of money on a driver. You need to have it to be at least like yours, and then like you said, the apples to apples. That's how you test it. If you come up with something totally different, may not work. It may work. I mean, you could get lucky, but I doubt it.
And your fellow tour players, I mean, they're getting in line for this now. I mean,
yeah.
raising a lot
I can't
of
believe it's
attention.
hilarious.
You and John, yeah,
it's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing with that? That just goes out there.
And
if I look in the right place, I'm okay.
The other thing too that Rocco just said is the industry over the last 15, 20 years has been about moving CG and CT around in the head, changing colors, There hasn't really been a new technology. I mean, vertical groove golf is the only face technology in the industry, period. The only new technology in golf, the only thing that's really new for the industry that is, obviously patentable or patented, but more importantly, it works. I mean, it's a beautiful club, lays well, sounds great, and the performance from the professional side all the way down to the amateurs has been perfect.
All right, so we have another one coming in here. It wants to know, John Kraus wants to know if there's any fairway woods or hybrids in the works.
John, yes, we're in the process of building out our woods and hybrids right now. We feel like by August of this year, we'll have the offering. So, yeah, look out for our woods and hybrids.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Me too.
Three wood on tour. I mean, it's
everything.
It's a game changer.
It's a big deal. It could be a really big deal.
So John Mack wants to know, he's 56, he's a 14 or 15 handicap, he's lived out of the right rough for about 30 years, and wants to know if you can get him back in the grass.
I'm right in your wheelhouse, John.
I would say yes.
Yes. I mean, again, it's a great point, and it's funny, but the point is, majority of golfers have the same issues. I mean, most golfers have an outside-in swing. Obviously, the ball's slicing to the right, but our dispersion rates are much tighter. So, although you may be playing from the fringe or sometimes out of bounds with a vertical groove driver, you're going to be playing down the fairway.
No more woods. You won't be in the woods or the ponds.
It'll tighten up your misses.
Yep.
And golf is misses. If you're hitting it great, that's fantastic. But if you're not, and it's still in front of you, what we call in front of us, so we can still find the thing, that's huge, especially as a profession. So it'll definitely tighten the dispersion.
But you're also seeing, I mean, because I know John said the same thing, is that he doesn't have to worry about his driving anymore because he knows that it's going to go into the fairway.
It's off the list.
He knows, so it's really about the chipping and putting. So he takes that off. So now he just focuses in there. I mean, are you seeing the same thing? I mean, obviously you've always been a great driver, but
I've always loved the driving part of the game. But yeah, it's definitely the only surprises I've got from the club so far were ones that I felt like I hooked a little bit more than I wanted to, and it didn't. But the ones I wanted to draw were fine. See, it was kind of
You said that when
it
I
was
mentioned
kind of
it,
freaky because I'm like, I'd hit a shot and I'm like, uh-oh, and I look up and it's still where I'm not right where I'm looking, but I felt like it should be like over there or over there, and it wasn't.
Right.
So that was cool.
And at your club too. I mean, I know when you first started, when you first looked at this club, right?
Right.
I mean, a lot of the guys that were testing it had a lot more confidence in driving, so now they're swinging harder, which obviously causes more distance. So they're getting actually greater distance than the 12 yards that we got at the Iron Byron. But you can tell them a little bit about that.
I mean, one of our club members also, who's involved with the company as an investor, he came in second in the club championship last year, which he never would have come near. And it was just a confidence builder for my good friend Ronnie.
Yeah.
And that was everything. And so if you have confidence, I mean, that can take you so far.
Oh,
I mean,
God, yeah.
Never mind on the pro level, but just as a
Anyway,
tax.
doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, doesn't matter what it is.
So Gurn Blanston wants to know, how does this driver perform against the Callaway's new Epic?
So Gurn, I mean, there is something out that, from a testing standpoint that shows that we get better carry distance. The Epic's a great club. Obviously, Callaway makes great clubs. TaylorMade makes great clubs. But what we're seeing is, obviously better just continued tighter dispersions down the fairway. We're getting greater distance. But it's a great club. Their club also is $499. This is $399.
It comes with really cool
Yeah,
head cover
great
too.
head cover. We use a Pro Series, upgraded shaft as our stock shaft. So, we feel like we go up against anybody.
So Rocco, Kevin Rubinsky wants to know, what was the main reason you switched from a PXG driver to an unheard of driver?
Good question.
And he said, was it really about distance or was it about control?
It was about both. Totally both. And plus I was getting out of there, so I wanted to get away from all that stuff. So and this was just you guys called me like, I don't remember, like in November, and said, hey, you're going to be, I said, I'll be in Florida in the middle of December.
Yeah.
Come on out. I said, yeah, I'd love to hit it. I'd love to hit it. And not thinking anything was going to happen, not really counting on anything, because you just don't know, right? And it happened. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I still can't, actually.
I remember
so
it's I'm going to hit this once, and if
but
not,
it was both.
It
was both. Distance, look, it's great to hit it farther. There's no question about it. But it's better to hit it straighter. I can assure you this. And I always tell these kids that will talk to me, these guys who are trying to turn professional, give me 285 yards in the middle of every fairway and see how you do. Not 320,
Right.
285, see how you do. So that's the key.
Yep.
So if you get both, bonus.
So James Chang says he ordered one from Korea, but he can't wait to test it. So he's fired up about it. But do you want to talk about how people can get these internationally?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the process of building out our distributor network internationally. We'll have some announcements shortly with some that we have already submitted. So our goal is to obviously expand the brand internationally. We are not shipping right now internationally unless obviously the golfer or the customers paying for shipping, duties, potentially VAT and some other tariffs and taxes and other things that go on in these other countries, because we're just not set up for it yet. We are shipping to Canada, but we will start shipping soon internationally as a company.
Thomas Termini wants to know, can it help an over-the-top swinger?
Oh boy.
There's not a lot that helps it over the top swinger, unfortunately.
You're talking to one.
So, again, I always go back to, we're getting much tighter dispersion. So anyone that's having, issues with huge slicing or huge hooks, again, it's just more tightly controlled in regards to where that dispersion goes. But an over-the-top swingers, it just needs a little bit more work in their driving.
It still doesn't mean you don't need instruction.
Right, no question.
So David and Becky Folk, how do spin rates compare to other OEMs?
I mean, Rocco just said it. I mean, he's getting 2,200. His previous driver, which someone just said who the company was,
right,
was 2,750 to 3,000. We're getting really good spin rates, much lower than most of the competitors, but
Even under 2,000 with some people.
yeah, I mean, but right in the 2,200 range is where you want to be, 2,200 to 2,600, and that's where we fall, consistently.
Yeah, too much spin is just as bad as not enough spin. Okay, neither one of them are any good. So if you can fall between those parameters somewhere, with that's where you want to be, because it doesn't. The ball won't stay in the air with no spin, and it spins all over the place with too much spin. So if you can find that, and that's what I found. Like I said, the first club you built.
There's
You
reasons
guys
there's
got
differences in
lucky.
golf ball.
We got lucky.
Or unlucky, one of the two.
So Jeff Hoffman wants to know, Rocco, how long does it take to put a new driver in your bag?
Well, it doesn't take long to know if it's any good on the range first, because that's usually what we'll go hit a few balls, more than one sometimes. But then after we hit 20 or 30 balls only, and then I said, let's go to the golf course and see what it does. I'd rather hit balls on the course than on the range. I don't like hitting fields. I like seeing where I'm trying to hit, or I like to see targets and stuff. So when we went out there, we hit a couple of drivers I was messing around with, and it dusted them, every one of them. But I also felt like I didn't have to do anything to make that happen. And I don't want to have to force the issue ever. I just don't, because I don't do well. I mean, not many people do. But it didn't take long. But it's not the easiest. It's hard to change a golf club, a driver especially. This one fell fast.
I must add too, he was barefoot the whole time.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I don't do shoes many times. But it just, like I said, it was a shocker to me how quickly it happened. It was a dream test.
I tell this story on the radio a lot, and everybody's intrigued. They all want to hear the same story about
it was
how
a
we
dream
met Ryan.
test. You don't get that. It doesn't happen very often.
And when John Daly hit it for the first time, his first hit, he says, "I can put this in play right
he,
away."
He would.
And most of these other guys that are hitting it say, "Man, this is a solid club. I could put this in play today." So we're getting really, really good support and feedback.
So Joanne Holland wants to know, how many pros are using this club right now?
Well, last week on the Champions Tour Chubb Classic, we had 5. We were the 4th manufacturer with drivers in play. Obviously, for a new company, that's a huge feat for us.
Huge.
Behind number 3.
Right behind number 3, and we feel like over the next 2 or 3 tournaments, we can take over the number 3 spot. I mean, if you look at the Champions Tour with all these Hall of Famers and champions and looking around.
Yeah, there's a Hall of Famers here.
But champions, our demographic, it obviously respects, these players, and we feel it's a good place for us to build the technology, build the support through the Champions Tour, and then obviously let it trickle down through some of the other.
You know, I made a comment the other day to a bunch of the guys I was talking to, some of my buddies, and you know, when you take someone like JD and you lessen his dispersion, he already hits at 27 miles. So we're not looking. If he hits a little further, fantastic.
Right.
If you can take a guy that carries his ball that far and make it go straighter, that's fantastic. But if you can take a guy like myself, who already hit it kind of straight, but give him 10, 12 more yards, you got it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen at 101 or 2 miles an hour max that I swing.
Right.
So if I'm getting more speed out of the club and everything else that's happening, that's a huge thing too, because we already know the long guys hit long. You hand the club to Freddie Couples or you hand the club to Dustin Johnson, they're going to hit it further than everybody else. But what if you make them go straighter?
Yeah.
God, I mean, hopefully you don't give them any. They don't need to have any.
By the
They
way,
can use their own.
Joanne's another member of our club at Turner Hill up in Ipswich, Mass. Hi, Joanne.
So Ron Eglin wants to know demo days. Where can they demo the club?
Right now, we started in South Florida. We're working our way around the bend to the West Coast. We just got 2 more sales guys to take over North and Central Florida. We have another gentleman going out to Arizona next week, and then we're focused on California and Texas. Obviously, the Sun Belts. You can play golf right now. As the weather shifts, we will move north. We're going to add more sales groups, across the country. So hopefully we'll be in. I don't know where you are, but hopefully we'll be in your neck of the woods soon.
So Michael Jessen asked, can someone explain why vertical grooves impart less side spin to the ball than horizontal?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Again, it's really about the dispersions. I mean, it's the head, the shape, obviously being, with the vertical grooves on the face of the club as it comes in contact with the ball. We're getting straighter dispersions, and we've tested that ourselves. I mean, again, the spin rates that we're getting are, like I said, 2200 to 2260, right in the wheelhouse of where you need to be. But on a windy day, the ball's piercing the wind. You're just not getting such a huge dispersion like all the manufacturers have. Ours is much tighter down the middle.
We use dispersion a lot, obviously. You can hear it. It's over and over and over.
It's kind of important, though.
It's very important.
So Big John Vic, it's great seeing Rocco and John using the driver. But what about the average amateur golfer who's around a 15 or 20 handicap? Can this driver work for them?
Yeah, it worked for anybody. It does the same thing. Slower speeds, faster speeds, lofts, slow speed, a little more lofts is fantastic because it goes up in the air more and it carries further. So it's easy to make it, it's easy to fit it. It's easy to fit it. I don't care if you're an 80 handicap or a plus 10. Doesn't really matter. And the speeds don't matter either because you can fix slow speeds with loft and it's real simple. I mean, it really is simple.
Yeah, we didn't build the company to just focus on the professionals. Obviously, the professionals just validate our technology. This is really for the amateurs. I mean, everyone's looking to hit the ball straighter and further. I mean, and every company goes out and says those things, but does it really work? And based off the testing that we've done, we're getting those results. So much straighter dispersion, on average up to 40%. We're getting much more distance. And obviously, we talked about earlier, if you're confident in your swing, you're going to swing probably a little bit harder. You're going to get more distance that way as well.
I feel like, this is a weird word probably for this, I feel like it frames it, if you know what I mean. It's like the grooves kind of, I don't even know if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
It frames it. It kind of makes it do that more easier than it doesn't. You know what I mean? Yeah, more easier probably doesn't make a lot of sense. But you know what I mean? It makes it. I don't know how to explain it. That's what I feel like.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like.
Right, it captures it.
So Bruce Carter says, again, I have one of these. It's made a huge difference. How has the club been received by the public so far?
I mean, it's been tremendous. I mean, we launched with John Daly on January 9th. The next week we launched with Rocco. We've been picked up by Sports Illustrated, Forbes, Golf Digest, around the world, getting huge support. Obviously, had a lot of sales, which is great for the company and the launch. But it's really more about the testimonials. We're getting huge testimonials from all kinds of golfers, from amateurs, high handicap, low handicap, the professional tour. Everyone's gravitating to vertical groove golf. So, we know what we have, and again, it's about getting this out so you have a chance to demo it and obviously put it in your bag because it will change your game and change your life if you're a golfer, no question.
Well, being that you just said, which is funny, you basically launched like a month ago. So Calm down.
Nobody
okay?
understands
Everybody
that.
calm
Nobody-
down.
yeah.
1 month ago you launched, and people, they ask me all the time. They just do. Is that vertical thing?
Right.
Yeah, it is that vertical thing. Yeah, that's the vertical thing. Well, why are you playing it? Here's my answer. What do you mean? Because I hate it. Because I'm playing it because I like it. That's why I'm playing it. A month.
Right.
It's a month.
Right.
So it's coming. It's coming fast.
And to answer your question, Bruce, sales will skyrocket. It's in just a month or a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got another question by Michael who says, do any stores currently carry your club?
Right now, we're just focused on green grass. Our core focus in regards to distribution is through our online vertgolf.com and green grass. We do have some indoor facilities where you can demo it. Obviously, they're selling the clubs there too. We're not going to traditional retail at this moment. We feel like, golf is a word-of-mouth business as long as you can, you deliver on exactly what you say you're going to deliver on. And we're getting a lot of support, both obviously from professionals down to amateurs. So if you can't get it in your area, we'll be there soon. Or you can go on vertgolf.com and get you a driver.
Great. Jeff Hoffman wants to know if there's any giveaways.
For $3.99, we'll give it
right to you. Yeah.
I'll give you free shipping.
Giveaways.
But price-wise, again, $399.99 is in the wheelhouse. Wilson's new drivers at $449, Epic's at $499. So as you see in the new drivers, we're right in the wheelhouse. So again, if there aren't any more questions tonight, we will continue to do these Facebook Live events periodically, answering your questions. If you have more questions, obviously feed them to the site, and we'll answer them obviously. So. Again, I want to thank Rocco and Jeff, and we're just glad that you guys attended our first Facebook Live event, and have a good rest of your week. Take care.
Good night.